If you want to learn about great things happening in Florence County, stay tuned. Carolina People will bring it to you. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. Today we're at the Eastern Carolina Agricultural Fair. We're visiting with the President and CEO of the Florence County Economic Development Partnership, Mike Eades. Mike, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Greg, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Are you from the PD area, Mike?
No, not originally. I'm from the Commonwealth of Virginia. I've lived here in Florence almost about 4 years.
Okay. You've been in Florence almost 4 years.
Moved here from Atlanta, but had spent numerous years in Columbia before that.
What brought you to the PD?
The position that I now hold with the Economic Development Partnership.
Had you been in an Economic Development Partnership prior to coming to Florence?
Been in it 26 years as of yesterday.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have family here as well?
Just a wife and a dog and a cat.
Well, that's a big family. Absolutely. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about what the Florence County Economic Development Partnership is?
Sure, I'd be glad to, Greg. The word partnership refers to the fact that our operation is a joint venture between Florence County government and Florence County Progress Incorporated, which is a private, not-for-profit membership corporation.
Okay.
Those two come together to form the partnership and also set the budget and fund our operation. And essentially our mission is to improve the economy and the well-being of the citizens of Florence County in a broad sense. We do that in numerous ways. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, what people think of when they hear economic development is new business recruitment. Mm-hmm. And we are the agency responsible for that in Florence County. We also spend a tremendous amount of time working with our existing companies, mm-hmm. making sure that they're happy and healthy and also creating jobs here.
Helping them grow.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's a very important source of new jobs. About 80% of the new jobs that are created in our county year after year come from the companies that are already here.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Florence County Progress.
Right.
Who are some of the members of the Florence County Progress?
Well, I hate to start naming names because there's about 150 of them.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's the major corporations in the county as well as smaller companies. We
mm-hmm.
have various categories of membership ranging from retired individuals who are interested in supporting our programs up to the major corporations in the county. Mm-hmm. We're very fortunate to have that level of private sector support.
Mm-hmm. What are the primary goals of the coalition?
Our partnership's big goal, a big picture goal, mm-hmm. is to raise the per capita or the household income in the county. Mm-hmm. That's our 20-year vision, if I could call it that, is that we will exceed the national average in median household income in this county by the year 2019. Mm-hmm. As we sit here today, we're at about 83% mm-hmm. of the national average, so we have a ways to go. But that drives our business recruiting effort. We're trying to attract very well-paying companies, and it also helps us when we're dealing with our existing industries and the way we utilize certain discretionary incentives that we have to help businesses. Those wage rates are a critical factor in that.
In your primary responsibilities in achieving this effort, Mike, as the president and CEO, can you talk real quick about those? Obviously, you're the face man for right. so much of what happens.
We market the county very aggressively to outside business. We do advertising, we do direct mail, and other means. We also, in South Carolina, is very important. We have a team concept here, and we work very closely with our economic development allies, mm-hmm. particularly the South Carolina Department of Commerce in Columbia. And they have their marketing and project management people out all over the world calling mm-hmm. on business. Mm-hmm. And so our job is to make them aware of the product available in Florence County and to work very closely with them in bringing in these new companies. And similarly to that, on the existing industry side, they have a mm-hmm. team that does nothing but work with the existing companies right. in the state, and we work hand in glove with them on that. And then in addition to that, there's utilities and railroads and a myriad of other organizations that help us do what we do.
How does the partnership facilitate new businesses coming to the area?
Well, we run, when you say facilitate, we are the point of contact for new businesses coming to the county. For example, if the Department of Commerce has a prospect that they would like to show Florence County, then they call us. It's our responsibility to have all the data and information about the county available to them, from available labor to wage rates to properties and buildings that are for sale.
Okay.
So we facilitate that whole process.
I think I heard earlier this morning the word pre-certification. Can you talk a little bit about pre-certification of an industrial site?
Yes, that's one of the leading edge programs that we have is what we call our Certified Sites program.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have done is go out and pre-qualify several properties across the county to be able to receive industrial or economic development. And you know, some of the things we've done is we do endangered species analysis. We look to make sure there's no spotted owls or the endangered woodpeckers and that type of thing on the site. That's a very important thing. We do the wetlands analysis, the soil borings, and several other those kind of tests. And what that does is assure our client that there's not a problem.
Right.
And bottom line is it saves them money and time. Probably saves them on the average, about 3 months worth of time, because they have to do those things to get their permits. And it's a selling tool for us.
Very definitely.
We're the only county in the state who has that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is this something that would be indicative in other states? Or?
Yes, there's some of our surrounding states already have this program, but we're the first can. And South Carolina, I think you'll see the state come out with a program similar to ours in the near future, but we've been on the leading edge of that for about 3 years.
And obviously you said earlier you support local companies that are already located in the area. Is there anything in particular that's done to support them?
Well, we call on them
right.
Almost weekly, at least once a week, if not more. We call on our existing industries for one-on-one conversation. You know, about are there any problems they're having that we can fix locally? You know, dealing with permits or anything like that. You know, we often find out that there are expansion opportunities that are being considered at corporate level, and so we actually help them sell their site and facility to their corporate hierarchy, so bring the jobs and the investment here.
Mike, we'd love to get you back another time, please, to talk about some of the reasons why Florence County is a great place to do business. But we got to wrap up now. Hopefully we can get you back sometime soon.
Anytime.
Mike Eades, the President and CEO of the Florence County Economic Development Partnership. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Mike.
Thank you, Gray.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. Today we're at the Eastern Carolina Agricultural Fair. We're visiting with the chairman of the Greater Florence County Chamber of Commerce, Reynolds Williams. Reynolds, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
You're welcome, Greg. Glad to be here.
It's a great excitement being out at the fair this week and seeing everything going out on the fairground. Having so many activities thinking about development here in Florence County just yesterday and throughout the city and county and throughout the region here. It's amazing to see. We had Don Harriet on from Roche, Carolina, who's also the state chamber president, chairman.
Yeah, just assuming that position.
Just taken over, I believe. I think he said a couple weeks ago. And Triv Dubardin talking about the school foundation. So many activities going on throughout Florence. Are you a Petey area native, Reynolds?
I grew up in Mullins. Lived there most of my life till I got grown. Went off to University of Virginia in Vietnam and then law school and then settled back in Florence.
Where did you attend law school?
University of South Carolina.
Okay. How long have you been practicing? Do you mind me asking, not to date you?
Oh, my goodness. Almost 30 years, not quite.
Is that right?
29.
And almost always in Florence?
Pretty much. I worked in Washington for the Senate Judiciary Committee for a while, and then I was a federal prosecutor for a while, but I've been here since 1977.
You said with the federal judiciary?
The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee.
Okay, great.
In fact, I got the day I graduated from law school, I went to Washington, and the Watergate hearing started that same day.
Is that right?
Yeah, so it was an exciting time.
Well, was Sam Urban involved with that?
Oh yeah.
He wasn't chairing up that committee, though. I think
He
was
chaired the Watergate hearing, the Special Investigation Committee.
I remember that. Well, we'll have to talk about that. We get you on another time to talk about that. I'm sure that was exciting.
It was.
An exciting time to be there. Do you have family here in the Florence area?
Yeah, but I have family still in Mullins, and I have some family here in Florence. Wife and 3 children.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Have any of them followed in your legal footsteps?
My son, Rob King, practices law with me.
Is that right?
Yeah, my daughter, Ann, and my son, Reynolds, had better sense than that.
So you've been in practice almost 30 years.
Correct.
That's amazing. What prompted your interest in the law, you think, Reynolds?
Chicken pox.
Chicken pox?
Yeah.
This is a long answer, yeah.
That's a short answer. I had chicken pox when I was in the 1st or 2nd grade, and I read a book called The FBI Story. And I really wanted to be an FBI agent, so I wrote J. Edgar Hoover. Said, how do you get to be an FBI agent? He said, be a lawyer or an accountant. And I didn't know what an accountant was, so I decided I'd be a lawyer.
At that early age?
Yeah.
That's amazing. What a great commitment. Had your family been attorneys? Obviously, none of your family would have known what a Hoover's answer would have been, so...
Actually, my father was a lawyer. He was a tobacco farmer and a tobacco warehouseman in Mullins. I never knew that he was a lawyer till I got to be about 12 years old, and I mentioned to him that I wanted to be a lawyer, and he said, well, you know, I'm a lawyer.
You're kidding.
No.
Now, he
didn't practice law.
He'd attended law school, or had he read law? I don't know what...
No, he'd attended law school
right.
and graduated, and just never practiced.
That's amazing. That's a little more common these days probably than it was back then, because folks want to get a good broad education, and they feel this is a good business training, for instance,
right.
Going to law school. Do you specialize in any particular area of the law?
Yeah, I do. Most of my clients are businesses and professionals and entrepreneurs. I advise them and assist them in their business. I do a lot of courtroom work because of my background as a federal prosecutor. I spent a lot of time in court. So I kind of have a wide range of experience that lends itself to business. We pride ourselves on the personal touch, getting to know your client's business so well that you're not always trying to learn from scratch when they get in trouble. We try and keep them out of trouble.
Yes.
But if they do get in a little bit of trouble, at least we know what led to it and how to get them out of it.
That's very interesting. I don't think oftentimes talking to attorneys that are that focused on their clients, but I mean that really keep clients for long periods of time and maintain a relationship. That's wonderful.
Yeah, we've got my firm has 12 lawyers, which is big for Florence, but not big in the scheme of things. But we try to distinguish ourselves by maintaining that personal touch with our clients. When you call, you get the same lawyer every time. You don't get shuffled around from one to another.
That's wonderful. That really is. Let's get over to the Chamber of Commerce. How long have you been involved with the Greater Florence Chamber of Commerce, Reynolds, or as chairman?
Well, I started being chairman as of July the 1st of this year. I've been on the board for several years. I was the lawyer for the Chamber of Commerce. I've been active in it essentially my whole career here in Florence. It's a fine organization. It's sort of the center for economic activity around Florence.
Are there any major projects currently on the drawing boards for the Chamber?
There are always a lot of projects on board for the Chamber because we have an array of business sizes that we try to serve, from the very smallest startup business to the Roche Carolinas and the General Electrics and CP&L. So they constantly have major projects going on. Probably one of the most interesting ones we have going on now is we had a Mayfly this May, which was a very successful air show at the Florence Regional Airport. We're going to do that again next year. I'm very confident that it's going to be an annual event, and it draws crowds from all over the country. Be amazing. I'm sure you'll be back over here then, but it's amazing to see the planes and the skydiving acts and the daredevils, etc., that descend when they hear there's a well-run air show.
And that'll be in May.
Right. We call it the Mayfly.
Okay, great. I think
one of the things we have is I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's like an 18-wheeler truck that has these jet engines in it that'll go down the runway at some incredible speed.
That would be, well, we'll have to definitely get back out, do a Carolina People Week at the Mayfly. What about, I think I heard someone talking about Florence 5 Points.
Yeah, that's
Is that?
a new initiative we're starting actually this month. Florence tries to distinguish itself. It's a wonderful place to live and raise a family and conduct business, and so we've decided to distribute. We adopted and decided to distribute to all of our chamber members what we call Florence's 5 points, and the points are ethics, work, community, knowledge, and trust. And when we say ethics, if you're a member of the Florence Chamber, we want you to subscribe to high ethical standards. You sell solid products and you stand behind them. You do good services and you stand behind them. Point number 2 is work. The chamber members value all honest work. There's dignity in all honest work, and we respect the people who work for us, and we respect our competition. Community. We recognize that all the businesses working together create a good place to live. And knowledge, you just know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And of course, trust. And we think those are the 5 points around which a community builds itself.
And the community's built itself around people like Reynolds Williams, 30 years almost as an active practitioner, specializing on a real commitment to his clients and his 12-member firm clients. Reynolds Williams, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks, Greg. Enjoyed it.
Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. Today we're at the Eastern Carolina Agricultural Fair. We're visiting with the director of the Florence County Library, George Hobeika. George, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
So good to be here. We have an exciting future for Florence.
You really do. We heard earlier this week, the County Council Chairman, Terry Alexander, was on. He had talked about the Florence County Library expanding from, I believe he said, 28,000 square feet to, I think the number was 88,000 square feet. 81,000. Well, he likes rounding it up. So it'll be about 53,000 square feet larger.
Right.
That's spectacular. A little bit about yourself, George. Are you a PD area native?
I was born here in Florence. I'm a McClendon High School graduate. I graduated from Furman University and Florida State University with my library science degree.
Okay.
And I've been at the Florence Library since 1974.
Your experience at the county library is, had you ever had any involvement with other libraries prior to?
I worked at Florida State in the library as a student, and I've done some work in the library at Florence Darlington Tech. So, and I was a substitute at Wilson High School for a while as a teacher.
What year did you take the position as director?
The year 2000.
Is that right?
September of 2000. I had been the interim director twice there.
Can you give the viewers a little bit of the history of the Florence County Library?
The Florence County Library started as a public library in 1925, and I have the picture right here on the cover of the Florence Library in 1925. That facade is still standing, and it's barred off. In 1978, there was an addition added that doubled the square footage, which is 28,000 square feet now. And I think we've outgrown this facility, and it's the wisdom of the Doctors Bruce and Lee Foundation, and in conjunction with Florence County Council and the library board and the Friends of the Library, that we're getting this wonderful new facility of 81,000 square feet.
That's spectacular. How many locations are there currently for the library? Is there just the one, the 28,000, or?
We have branches in Johnsonville, Timmonsville, Lake City, which is a brand new facility which opened in May of 2001. It's 11,300 square feet, and Olana, I've missed somebody, Pampico, did I say Pampico? And also the children's room in our new headquarters facility will be around 12,500 square feet, which will make it the largest children's department in a public library in South Carolina.
Is that right?
Which is saying a lot because Anderson has a brand new facility, Greenville has a brand new facility. I was just up there Sunday for their dedication, and Charleston County has a brand new facility. So our new children's room will be larger than all of theirs.
Well, that'll be a great claim to fame for the PD.
Right.
For this part of the state.
In fact, our thinking is that this library will be one of the most outstanding structures in the Southeast as a public library. We're very happy with the architects, Craig Golden and Davis, out of Greenville. They have built a significant number of libraries in South Carolina.
When will construction actually begin on the new library?
Construction has already started.
Okay.
The groundbreaking is to be Wednesday, October the 23rd at 11 a.m.
Okay.
at the site, which is down facing McClinigan Place on South Dargan Street.
And new services that you'll be able to offer that aren't currently available?
We will have educational television and satellite. We have satellite dishes, and also we'll have expanded story times for the children's room. We'll have between 75 and 100 public internet terminals.
Great.
That we'll have to keep up with. The interesting thing with internet terminals is they always go down only when the computer technicians are not around. I think that's true everywhere. State-of-the-art computer technology. Our outreach should be expanded. Like, we work very closely with the Literacy Council, and we also are going to be in compliance with all of the Americans with Disability Act's requirements for public building. South Carolina room is very important. We will have a vault to save or preserve the rarer materials. All of your public libraries along the eastern seaboard have more historical data to preserve than, say, a public library out in the Midwest would have. Our history is older than theirs. So we'll have a vault in the South Carolina room and separate temperature controls for the rare materials.
George, when's this project scheduled to be completed?
March through June of 2004.
Okay. And the estimated cost for the entire project?
The Bruce and Lee Foundation and Florence County have allocated $17 million for the project. The Friends of the Florence County Library, which is a private support group for the library, is trying to raise $3 million for endowment and to buy books, videos, DVDs, furnishings, computer equipment, software, computer software over the years to come.
I'm sure there are a heck of a lot of fundraising activities going on year-round, even other than what the Friends of the Florence County Library are doing. But if someone wanted to contribute, would there be a way, anyone they could call?
I have this address right here.
That is Friends of the Florence County Library, 319 South Irby Street, Florence, South Carolina, 29501. And if they wanted to go to the Florence County website,
it's florencelibrary.org, and that's all lowercase.
Okay, www.florencelibrary.org.
Right.
George Hobeika, 2 years, or since 2000, as the director of the Florence County Library. Since 1974 with the Florence County Library, a PD native, back here making home in Florence County, and the commitment of the library goes beyond compare. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, George.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for more Carolina People coming up next. We want to send a big thanks out to Bob Jones, the Executive Director of the Florence City-County Agricultural Commission, for allowing us to be out here at the Eastern Carolina Agricultural Fair all week, bringing Carolina people to you.